The land tended upward the way Rand went, but fear lent his legs strength, and they ate ground in long strides, tearing his way through flowering bushes and tangles of wild rose, scattering petals, not caring if thorns ripped his clothes or even his flesh. Moraine had stopped screaming. It seemed as if the shrieks had gone on forever, each one more throat-wrenching than the last. But he knew they had lasted only moments altogether. Moments before Aganor would be on his trail. He knew it would be him that Aganor followed. He had seen the certainty in the Forsaken's hollow eyes, in that last second before terror whipped his feet to run. The land grew ever steeper, but he scrambled on, pulling himself forward by handfuls of undergrowth, rocks and dirt and leaves spilling down the slope from under his feet, finally crawling on hands and knees when the slant became too great. Ahead, above, it leveled out a little. Panting, he scrabbled his way the last few spans, got to his feet, and stopped, wanting to howl aloud. 10 paces in front of him, the hilltop dropped away sharply. He knew what he would see before he reached it, but he took the steps anyway, each heavier than the one before, hoping there might be some track, a goat path, anything. At the edge, he looked down a sheer 100-foot drop, a stone wall as smooth as planed timber. There has to be some way. I'll go back and find a way around. Go back and... When he turned, Aganor was there, just reaching the crest. The Forsaken topped the hill without any difficulty, walking up the steep slope as if it were level ground. Deep sunken eyes burned at him from that drawn parchment face. Somehow it seemed less withered than before, more fleshed, as if Aganor had fed well on something. Those eyes were fixed on him, yet when Aganor spoke, it was almost to himself.
Baal Zaman will give rewards beyond mortal dreaming for the one who brings you to Sheol Ghul. Yet my dreams have always been beyond those of other men, and I left mortality behind millennia ago. What difference if you serve the great Lord of the Dark alive or dead? None to the spread of the shadow. Why should I share power with you? Why should I bend knee to you? I, who faced Luz Theron Telamon in the Hall of the Servants itself. I, who threw my might against the Lord of the Morning, and met him stroke for stroke. I think not.
Rand's mouth dried like dust. His tongue felt as shriveled as Aganor. The edge of the precipice grated under his heels, stone falling away. He did not dare look back, but he heard the rocks bounding and rebounding from the sheer wall, just as his body would if he moved another inch. It was the first he knew that he had been backing up, away from the Forsaken. His skin crawled until he thought he must see it writhing if he looked, if he could only take his eyes off the Forsaken. There has to be some way to get away from him. Some way to escape. There has to be. Some way. Suddenly, he felt something. Saw it, though he knew it was not there to see. A glowing rope ran off from Aganor, behind him, white like sunlight, seen through the purest cloud, heavier than a blacksmith's arm, lighter than air, connecting the Forsaken to something distant beyond knowing, something within the touch of Rand's hand. The rope pulsed, and with every throb, Aganor grew stronger, more fully fleshed, a man as tall and strong as himself, a man harder than the Warder, more deadly than the Blight. Yet beside that shining cord, the Forsaken seemed almost not to exist. The cord was all. It hummed. It sang. It called Rand's soul. One bright finger strand lifted away, drifted, touched him. And he gasped. Light filled him, and heat that should have burned, yet only warmed, as if it took the chill of the grave from his bones. The strand thickened. I have to get away.
No!
Aganor shouted.
You shall not have it. It is mine!
Rand did not move, and neither did the Forsaken. Yet they fought as surely as if they grappled in the dust. Sweat beaded on Aganor's face, no longer withered, no longer old. That of a strong man in his prime. Rand pulsed with the beating in the cord, like the heartbeat of the world. It filled his being. Light filled his mind, till only a corner was left for what was himself. He wrapped the void around that nook, sheltered in emptiness. Away!
Mine!
Aganor cried.
Mine!
Warmth built in Rand, the warmth of the sun, the radiance of the sun, bursting, the awful radiance of light, of the light. Away.
Mine!
Flames shot from Aganor's mouth, broke through his eyes like spears of fire, and he screamed. Away. And Rand was no longer on the hilltop. He quivered with the light that suffused him. His mind would not work. Light and heat blinded it. The light. In the midst of the void, the light blinded his mind, stunned him with awe. He stood in a broad mountain pass surrounded by jagged black peaks like the teeth of the Dark One. It was real. He was there. He felt the rocks under his boots, the icy breeze on his face. Battle surrounded him, or the tail end of battle. Armored men on armored horses, shining steel, dusty now, slashed and stabbed at snarling Trollocs, wielding spiked axes and scythe-like swords. Some men fought afoot, their horses down, and barded horses galloped through the fight with empty saddles. Fades moved among them all, night-black cloaks hanging still however their dark mounts galloped, and wherever their light-eating swords swung, men died. Sound beat at Rand, beat at him and bounced from the strangeness that had him by the throat. The clash of steel against steel, the panting and grunting of men and Trollocs striving, the screams of men and Trollocs dying. Over the din, banners waved in dust-filled air. The black heart of Faldara, the white heart of Shinar, others, and Trolloc banners. In just a little space around him, he saw the horned skull of the Dabo, the blood-red trident of the Cobalt, the iron fist of the Daimon. Yet it was indeed the tail end of battle, a pausing, as humans and Trollocs alike fell back to regroup. None seemed to notice Rand as they paid a few last strokes and broke away, galloping, or running in a stagger to the ends of the pass. Rand found himself facing the end of the pass where the humans were reforming, pennants stirring beneath gleaming lance points. Wounded men wavered in their saddles, riderless horses reared and galloped. Plainly they could not stand another meeting, yet just as plainly they readied themselves for one final charge. Some of them saw him now. Men stood in their stirrups to point at him. Their shouts came to him as tiny piping. Staggering, he turned.